Hey homeschool friends, I can't believe the year is like half over. We're kind of on the downhill slope now. And so this video, I wanted to take a little time and look back. I wanted to look back on the first half of the homeschool year and do a bit of a mid-year update. And so I have been doing updates on my channel. I've been doing them regularly, about monthly, and that's been really good because I've needed your help this year and you guys have really come through on that. But in this video, I want to look a little bit more broadly at how the year has gone, kind of what we're still using, what we have switched up, and I want to chat about that in today's video. So hi, my name is Angie. Welcome to my channel if you are new here, or welcome back if you have been coming for a while. I always love when you guys stop by on my videos, especially if you comment. I love your comments. And so, like I was saying, this video is really a mid-year update, like a check-in, like how things have been going. So I think I'm going to structure this video in what we're still using and what we have switched curriculum-wise. Because I feel like this year is the year we have switched so many things, but I'm so happy with my switches. So let me hop in. I think I'll start with what stayed the same because that's a smaller pile. So what stayed the same? The first thing and the biggest thing that has stayed the same is sunlight. I love sunlight. It has been just a really good fit for our family. Really just being able to read all of these topics has made it so interesting to my kids. The science, the history, the Bible, all of that's been so interesting. And then you throw on top of that all the amazing books, all the amazing read alouds that my kids have just loved all year long, has really just made sunlight an awesome choice for our family. I would say for Sunlight HBL or History Bible Literature, we're using the K program, American History, and the history and the literature have been amazing. My kids have loved history. Like my son, I asked him what his favorite subject is, and he said history, just because he really enjoys the stories of all the different people, whether it be Paul Revere or George Washington. He has just really been drawn into that. So the history has been a huge hit. The read-alouds have been a huge hit. Here, I'll show you. So I asked my kids what their favorite read-alouds so far this year has been. And we have used Sunlight read-alouds, and then we have picked some for our evening read-alouds. And they picked this book. This is their favorite book. This is called Adventures with Waffle by Maria Parr. This book is laugh out loud funny, but it also had like 3 chapters where I just cried, and I couldn't read because I was crying, and my kids were like stroking my head and being like, "It's okay, mommy, it's okay." Such a good book. It is such a good book. It's just about these 2 kids who are friends and just all the trouble they get into, but it's just sweet. And there's some really thoughtful and amazing undertones and plot lines that are going through the book that are good discussion points for kids. So I really like this. They really like this. So that's been our favorite read aloud of the year, but we've read so many. I usually talk about them in my monthly updates just to kind of keep you guys updated on good options for read alouds. So go check that out. I actually will just link that playlist for my homeschool updates. So go check that out if you're interested. As for the Bible section of the HBL, we like it. It's good. And I feel like we're able to discuss some stuff. Honestly, it's just not as much fun as some of the other stuff, and that's okay. That doesn't mean that we're not going to do it. It's just not my kids' favorite, and I'm trying to find ways to engage them a little bit more with that. So I'm working on that, but it's still a really good fit, and it's still very age appropriate and the right amount of time. So I'm not going to switch it. It's not even on my radar to switch. It's a good program. It's just not as favorite as the others. And same with science. We have really loved science. And I just filmed a review on Sunlight Science, and I'm not sure if it's going to go up before this one or after this one. So look for it either way, and you'll get a little bit more of a deep understanding of how I enjoy the science, especially coming from someone who has a PhD in microbiology. Like, science is my thing. And so I tell you all my thoughts in that video. So I'm not going to get into it too much other than saying we really like it. It's a good fit. And then the few other things that are staying the same is All About Spelling. So All About Spelling has been a really good fit. I feel like it has such a good approach for teaching spelling, where it's not just spelling lists, but you're really learning phonics in reverse, right? Like whatever that's called, encoding versus decoding. It does an excellent job of that. And I also like there's dictation phrases at the end of every lesson. So they really get to work out using those words in everyday life. So I like that aspect of All About Spelling. So that's been a big hit, as well as the handicraft for my son. So I mentioned this in his 2nd grade curriculum choices for 2021-2022, is that I picked him up a book on whittling, and you guys, he loves it. He has like taken off with it. He has requested all sorts of different tools, and I think I'm going to get him on like a Skillshare class about how to carve and what kind of woods to use and what kind of knives to use. Like, we just got him a pocket knife to start him out to see if this is something he really likes, and he hasn't stopped. He's always looking for wood to collect. It's pretty awesome, actually. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I did not think he would take to it quite this well, but he has really liked it. So that's been a huge hit. So those are the things that have stayed the same. That's it. So now let's move into what has shifted. And it's all shifted for very good reasons, and I have talked about it a lot on this channel, so I'm not going to deep dive into why. I might just link a bunch of videos, and a lot of you I know have been on the journey with me, so you already have heard me talk about these things. But broadly speaking, what has changed? Let's start with math. So we went into the year starting with the primary Singapore math, where we used the Math Live online videos, which I loved and they really liked. That was a good fit. The method of Singapore math was not a good fit for my son in particular. My daughter, I feel like, could have gone either way, but my son, it just wasn't a good fit. And so we ended up switching to Saxon Math. It's just a more traditional program that has a lot more spiral, a lot more practice, a lot more work with the math facts, and it has worked really well. He is feeling much more confident about his math skills now. So I switched both of them, and it's going really well. Next, for language arts. So this has been kind of the recent topic of change on my channel, and that has been phonics and phonics instruction. And this has been for both of my big kids. So my son and my daughter, my almost 8-year-old and my 6.5-year-old, weren't taking off with phonics. And so what I have found is that I am able to mix the Abeka phonics program, only their phonics, and the All About Reading program, and it just jives really well. I have a video, which I'll put my thumbnail up here because this explains it really well. This explains why I'm combining them, how I'm combining them, why I think the two programs go really well together. And so that's been our shift in phonics, is to kind of start combining those two programs, which I have really, really loved. Okay, as for handwriting. So we started out the year with Danielian handwriting. We got about halfway and it was totally fine, not a big deal. But as I was in the process of picking up resources for Abeka and making the phonics switch, with all those programs came handwriting. And Abeka is known for its handwriting program, especially its cursive. And so I was about to switch my son to cursive via Danielian, like that was the second half of the second grade book of the Danielian workbook. And I just decided to start him on the path with the Abeka handwriting because it actually gives a little bit more instruction. It's not just a workbook. There's instruction, there's extra work, there's just more resources to pull from. So it gives me more flexibility if, for instance, he doesn't take to it or he needs extra time. There's just more resources. So I decided to switch to that, and I also switched my daughter, and she's just doing less cursive, but she's still liking it. Okay, the next part of language arts that we switched twice. We didn't technically. I was planning on using first language lessons and Writing with Ease from the Well-Trained Mind when I was in the process of pulling together my curriculum for this year. And right around the start of school, I decided to try out the Sunlight Language Arts program because we found that we were really loving Sunlight, and I liked how interconnected it could be, especially as you move up in the years. The readers that the kids have to read are hooked into their history, and I really liked that. I loved that idea. And those readers are also hooked up into reading comprehension and grammar and composition. And so I just wanted to give Sunlight a try. And I feel like it worked fairly well. The only issue I probably had with it, which I share in a video where I compare some of the elementary writing curriculums that we have used, is it was just a little too loose, and I just need more help in that area. And so about the time when we were really focusing on phonics, I dropped the grammar and composition, or I dropped the Sunlight Language Arts, just to give us more focused time on phonics. And now that that is going so well, I am bringing back in writing, and that's also going pretty well. So I decided to go with Essentials in Writing. So EIW, not IEW, even though I am interested in IEW. That might be something I add to it. But at this point, we just picked up EIW, which the first chunk of the curriculum is grammar and the second part is composition. And it's very much holds the child's hands, and there's DVDs with a teacher, which was really helpful for me. And that's been really a good fit so far. We've kind of been picking and choosing some of the grammar stuff that he doesn't know and skipping over some of the stuff that he does know, because I want to aim to finish that program at the end of the year. So anyway, that's been a good fit. And that's mostly for my son. I actually haven't done any grammar or composition with my daughter other than the Sunlight Level K, which was very minimal. And so I'm trying to decide what to do with her. I think I'm going to bring back in Lightning Literature grade 1 with her and just not do the composition because I did not like the writing part of that program, but I did really like the grammar and the reading comprehension. So I think I might bring that because I just have the resources. I had it for my son, I put it aside for my son, and now I might just pick it back up for my daughter and finish out all the lessons because I think we only did 8 weeks with my son, so that gives us plenty of lessons to work on some early grammar and reading comprehension with my daughter. So that's my thoughts for her in the second part of this school year, is to start easing into some grammar and composition. And I think I also might start easing her into all about spelling. So she is in Abeka K5 and all about reading level 1 for her phonics. I think I'm going to start her in all about spelling level 1 because with the combination of those 2 phonics programs, I believe she would have no problems with those concepts that are taught, especially early in all about spelling level 1. So I think I'm going to do those 2 things for her starting off in the new year, is to take her language arts from just phonics and handwriting to phonics and handwriting, a little bit of spelling, and light grammar and reading comprehension. So that's my plan for language arts. I feel like we shifted a lot of things around, but it's been a really good fit. We'll see how my daughter takes to doing a little bit more. But again, she is 6.5, so I believe she can start to handle it a little bit better. So that's language arts. A couple other things. Oh, so if you watched my curriculum videos, you would know that I wanted to try this like enrichment loop where we brought in extra resources like fairy tales and more like nature lore and music and art and all these very Charlotte Mason ideas, because I'm inspired by Charlotte Mason, but my life doesn't really allow for a lot of Charlotte Mason ideas and concepts, nor does my personality. I have learned my life and my personality struggle to make Charlotte Mason work very well. So I think I have compromised with the idea of sunlight, which feels like Charlotte Mason plus classical, if that makes sense. So we weren't able to do any of that enrichment material. I still have it on my shelves. I just moved it over into the schoolroom. I'll actually link a video if I still have room to link videos of where I just did a ton of homeschool prep over the holidays and just moved stuff around and cleaned stuff. And I brought some of those resources into our schoolroom, mostly just to kind of keep it more front and center for me to maybe be able to pick it up spontaneously. We'll see. But for now, I dropped that enrichment loop. And the other thing we're not doing is preschool. So my twins just turned 4 in November, and they are in a drop-off preschool for the mornings, 3 mornings a week, and they love it. They love their teachers. They get to do messy art and science and show and tell and all the things, and they have just really loved it. My initial plan was to do Abeka K4 and the Sunlight preschool program with them. We're not doing any of that. I'm honestly not sure how I'm going to be bringing them into our homeschool quite yet, if it's going to be next year or the year after. I just feel like the big kids are in such a intense learning season of math and phonics, like learning to read and learning to do early math. It's just a lot of work. It's a lot of teaching. So it's hard to then know what to do with the twins. So that's why they're in preschool. And that's why I need to solve the problem of what I'm going to do with them next year. But for this year, I kind of ditched everything I planned to use. So all in all, we changed a lot. We kept a little bit. But it's a better fit and it's an honest fit. It fits me and it fits our family dynamics at this point, and it fits it really well. And so I'm happy with all our changes. I'm happy with how things have evolved this year in our homeschool. And so that's my update. I would love to hear from you. Have you changed anything significantly, or have you just been loving the curriculum you chose? Please let me know. Again, I love interacting with you on all the monthly update videos. But this is just a broad, like, how things have been going this year so far. So I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're not already subscribed, and otherwise I will see you in the next homeschool video. All right, guys, take care.